Hello everyone, welcome again in To Buy or Not To Buy series. First, before we start, I have to apologize because there was not much activity on the channel recently, and this is all because I have some things I need to focus in the real life, and I cannot spend too much time on the gaming and on the YouTube. I cannot focus too much on that. So I hope I'm gonna sort it out everything soon and get back to the normal activities. And today, like I said, coming back with To Buy or Not To Buy video, which we're gonna talk about that British premium tank destroyer on tier 5, Angry Connor. The tank is still available in the shop for one more day for 2,500 of gold, with all equipment slots unlocked for 2,500 of gold, like I said. But the tank looks quite odd. From the silhouette, it looks a little bit similar to German Dicker Max, but if you look closely, it is completely opposite, because when the German Dicker Max has a front, this is the back of this tank. See the gun pointing to the backside of the tank. This is the front part. So basically, you're driving this tank backwards. If you look on the inside here, just by the gun lock, you can see driving seats. So the driver is sitting backwards and is driving. If you drive this way, is a back of a tank actually. So it's quite unique. It's quite a unique project because the tank has been based on the British Archer tank destroyer called Archer, and that was the way it was designed. For some strange reason, the British technologists they decide to point the gun to the backwards, to the rear of the tank, and then the driver, he was driving the vehicle, and then since they get the position for shooting, the driver has to get out of the vehicle, because otherwise, if they shoot the gun, then probably the driver could gonna be smashed by the lock here of the gun. So that was very strange design. Anyway, we have this in the game. So if we look at the tank, like I said, it's driving backwards. So this is for first interesting thing in this tank. If you look at the parameters, we have first thing that we have a very good gun. We have OQF 17 PDR 80 gun MK7 Mark 7, and the parameters of that is the strongest point of this gun is 171 mm of penetration on regular shells. On tier 5, this is a lot. 239 on the premium shells and 20 mm on high explosives. Alpha damage 160 on regulars, 135 on premiums, and 200 on high explosives. But then if you look on reload time, 4.79, which could be with equipment could be reduced to about 4 seconds, 4.2 seconds. That gives you incredible DPM on 2,200, around 2,200 damage per minute, which is a lot. On tier 5 is quite a lot. Dispersion 0.345 is also quite, means the gun is quite accurate, and aiming time 4.0, which means you won't focus the gun before the reload. So it's quite versatile, because by the time the gun is focused, you already reloaded. So as you can see, it's quite that's quite good. Gun depression 15 degrees. This is quite interesting because it's similar situation like in the mentioned Dicker Max. A lot of gun depression. That means you can take a position behind the rocks, on hills, and then do not expose too much of your vehicle, which is quite important. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Elevation is 7 degrees only, which is not a lot. If you look at the other parameters, the weight of the vehicle 16.2 ton. And engine power 192 horsepower. That gives us power to weight ratio on 11.8 horsepower per ton, which is not brilliant, but of course for a tank destroyer, for this part tank destroyer, it's not that bad. And the speed that we just talked about, forward is only 12 km per hour and backwards is 32, which means to drive it fast, you have to go backwards. So this is interesting situation. And now we're supposed to talk about the armor of this vehicle. And here it is. As you can see, there's not much to talk about, as this vehicle has no armor whatsoever. Look on the top of of a tank is 23 millimeters, only 23 millimeters, which means it's like high explosive magnet. On the bottom part, on the chassis, we have 27 millimeters here, 20 millimeters, and the bottom part 58 because of the angle. On the sides, have 21, 23, all over 20 millimeters. Seriously, is like a typical paper tank. On the back, which means on the front of this vehicle, 24, 26, 26. And 25 millimeters on the bottom. Seriously, no armor whatsoever. That's why the gun depression is so important in this tank. So seriously, basically there's not nothing to talk about according to armor, because there is no armor. In here you can see Angry Connor compared with the most popular tank destroyers on tier 5, Su-85 and Stuk 3. As you can see, DPM is the highest on Angry Connor, 2280. And penetration also is completely outclassed, 171 versus 144 and 150 millimeters on Stuk. As you can see, Stuk is quite good, and 150 millimeters is well enough. So imagine that here we have 171, which is very good. Alpha damage 160 points, same like on Stuk. Rate of fire 1425, which is insane, against 8.48 and 10.96. That was about 40% more than Su and 25% more than Stuk. So that's why he's so crazy incredible. Reload 421, like we said before, against 708 and 547. So as you can see, the gun is outclassing all the tank destroyers. Aiming time 172, same like in Su-85 and slightly worse than, about 10% worse than in Stuk. Dispersion 0.32 is the less accurate gun among those three tanks, but still quite accurate. The thing we're supposed to talk about is also, because this is a turretless vehicle, and aiming arch is 23 degrees both sides, which means you got 46 degrees of the gun range left and right side, which is also quite a lot, because if you look on 15 degrees on Su-85 or Stuk, that makes 30 degrees on both tanks. Here we have 46 degrees, quite a lot. And another thing is speed, like we said, like we just talked about, we shouldn't talk about, because 32 kilometers on the backwards, still more than the other vehicles, so it's much slower, but of course it needs special skills to drive backwards, like I said. Engine power, look at the difference, 192 versus 470 and 410. That's why we have only 32 km/h speed. But then, of course, it should be less, but it's all balanced with terrain resistance, which is quite good, 0.8, 0.9, 1.8, when we have 1.1, 1.4, 1.7 in the other tanks. That's why the tank is not that slow. Like 149 horsepower should be, the tank should be very slow, but it's not that bad. Actually, it's not that bad. And the most important things on this tank, credit coefficient. Seriously, it's an insane 230%, probably the highest amount in the whole game. But like I said, this tank required a special gameplay, special technique, and you need some skills to play this tank. So if this tank is for everyone, absolutely not. Because to play this tank effectively, you need a lot of experience to play turretless tank destroyers. Plus, you need a lot of knowledge of the maps. So you're supposed to know all the spots on the map that you can place the tank destroyer and do not get spotted and dealing the damage from hidden positions. So if you like the camping style, of course this is tank for you. Plus, you need to get familiar with that unusual driving style. So because like we just talk about it, if you drive forwards, you're quite slow. You have only 13 km/h. And the full speed is on the backwards, so you need to be familiar with this strange driving style. If you're an experienced player, if you're a skilled player, of course that's gonna be deadly weapon in your hands, because you know that insane tank DPM, lots of penetration, 170 millimeters of penetration and 160 alpha damage. So this is the deadly weapon. If you catch the enemy and you manage to detrack him, he will not escape, because within 4 seconds it's impossible to fix the track and run away. So basically, since he's caught, he's dead. Yes, if you are an experienced player, of course you may consider to buy this tank. Otherwise, you're gonna be only disappointed. And do not get caught with that fantastic credit coefficient 230%, because if you can't use this tank effectively, you can't use it. You're gonna be always frustrated, and it's gonna be just a gold waste on this tank. So if you are not familiar with the paper turretless tank destroyers, do not touch it. Of course, like we said, there's no armor, so with 600 HP, this tank, if everyone starts throwing high explosives on you, it's a matter of 2-3 shots and you're dead. So seriously, there's no point, absolutely no point to get interested. Of course, like I said, if you are skilled, you know what you're doing, yes, of course, that's going to be a fantastic buy for you, and you're going to be lots of fun playing this tank. And that's it. Thanks everyone for watching today. I hope I'll give you some useful information about this tank. If you want to see other tank reviews, you can browse the channel and find something for yourself. If you like my materials, you can subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for incoming videos. I'll try to get back with regular videos as soon as possible. That's it. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I'm gonna see you next time. Meanwhile, take care and goodbye.